So, describes as huge, hulking, and often coated in hardened mud, clay, or even stone, giving rise to the term stone giants. Not just a forest dweller, these beings are said to abduct and consume humans, and they lived in caves in the deepest wilderness. In Iroquois myth, they're more than animals. They're dark spirits in physical form, representing chaos and danger to peaceful tribal life. And some legends suggest they once were men cursed or transformed by evil spirits.
Well, today on Broadcasting Seeds,
And we're back.
and we're back.
The Genoskwa, first time I ever heard about this is when I was doing a report, like in college,
Okay.
on the Iroquois, which is the local Indian Confederation here in the area that we live in, right?
Yep. Yes.
Everywhere
Yes,
from
indeed.
Canada, I mean, even into Canada, all the way down, basically almost all of New York.
Yeah.
And parts of even Pennsylvania and whatnot, I think, part of their territory.
Yep.
But either way, this is a legend that goes back to them. Now, there's other tribes, I think, farther north too, that have like similar type things, right? The
Yeah.
origins.
Yep.
Like,
They're all very similar in the sense that, like, structure, biology. But the stories change kind of, I guess, depending on where you go, because some places they say they don't have that aggressive tendency or nature, and then in some places they say they're, tearing people's heads off.
well,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, that was their
literally.
preferred way. That's
Yeah.
literally their preferred way of
Just grabbing
getting
them
rid
and
of folks.
twisting the
Yeah,
head
just
off.
twisting their heads off. So described as huge, hulking, and often coated in hardened mud, clay, or even stone,
Yep.
giving rise to the term stone giants. Not just a forest dweller, these beings are said to abduct and consume humans, and they lived in caves in the deepest wilderness. In Iroquois myth, they're more than animals. They're dark spirits in physical form, representing chaos and danger to peaceful tribal life. And some legends suggest they once were men cursed or transformed by evil spirits. Now, I did a little research in that.
Of
That
course you did.
seems like very correlative with like the Wendigo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but I'm sorry, the Wendigo is so haunted by uh
Hmm.
modern culture,
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Why are you
that
sorry about that?
it takes on this whole nother thing. I mean, the other thing too is the tribal origins are different because Wendigos are like Algonquin, the
Yeah.
Ojibwe, and the Cree, but there's also tales of the Wendigo from out west. So I don't know what to believe with that, but
Yeah.
and so loosely translated, Wendigo means the evil spirit that devours mankind. Sounds a lot
Well,
like the, you know.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I think when you talk about the appearance, now they talk about like a Wendigo is more like an emaciated corpse,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Not a
Big difference
Sasquatch
between
looking.
8 to 10 foot tall, massive, muscular, you know,
Yeah.
thing
100%.
covered in hardened mud, bark, and you know,
Yeah.
that type of thing. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to think, right?
I don't either, man. This one's, I mean, the reality is, if you think about it, with most animal species, uh, there's variations when you go from, like, in canines, for instance, look at
Yeah.
the variation in canines. I know we've breeded them out as humans, but the reality is there is a variation, even in the wild. So why wouldn't that be this same with something like this? You
Yeah,
know,
for sure. Um, I mean,
just thinking logically.
yeah. So different traits though, like
Yeah.
behavior wise between Genoskwa and Sasquatch, right?
Yes. Yep.
Um, we've
You're not
got
getting curious.
we've got the behavioral divide, I guess you would
Hmm.
call it, right?
Yep.
And you've got oh shoot, I just lost it, dude. What the hell?
What?
All right. Behavior. Um Sasquatch tends to avoid contact
Yep.
and they're elusive, right?
Yep.
Well, Genoskwa's reported uh is aggressive and territorial.
Yeah. Yep.
Build large but leaner for the Bigfoot Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Genoskwa's massive, muscular, and has like the stone-like armor, which just sounds like really matted fur. Like they literally, the stories are that they mat their fur and like basically to
To
it
stop
was to
weapon.
stop
Yeah.
arrows.
Yeah. Yep.
But
That's
but
wild.
later on they found that guess it wouldn't stop bullets. That's the stories I've read so
Yeah.
far.
Yep. Like as soon as flintlock pistols and rifles started showing up,
Sure.
um, they started kind of withering away, or at least going into hiding,
Yeah,
because
right. Became way more uh
elusive,
elusive.
illusory hominid.
Illusory hominid. Vocalization, howls, knocks, and mimicry for Sasquatch. But for the God, why do I keep forgetting how to say it? Genoskwa. Is that how you
Yeah, Genoskwa.
Genoskwa? Genoskwa.
I think that's how you
Low
say
growls and terrifying shrieks.
it.
Habitat forest mountains, remote areas for Sasquatch, deep caves, cliffside forests, right?
Yep.
And then temperament is curious and neutral and predatory and dangerous. So,
I don't like that.
yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
So upstate New York, parts of the Adirondacks and Allegheny regions have multiple reports of unusually aggressive Sasquatch that throw rocks, break trees, and charge at witnesses. Sounds familiar,
Yeah.
Jewel.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Sounds kind of like what happened in your backyard.
Yeah, just a little.
The other thing that's a little, it sounds like what happened to me and both of my encounters as well.
Yeah.
Here's the other kicker, the odor.
Yeah.
You don't hear about the odor in all Sasquatch sightings and or confrontations.
No.
And I had said, I wonder if it's like a reaction to being
Okay.
startled or being, like as a skunk would, right?
Okay. Okay.
I've said that in past episodes of
Yeah.
maybe not this podcast, but other podcasts, but I think I did say in this podcast. And I would not doubt, and it's a cross between skunk and decomp,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And that's
Yeah.
exactly what it smells like.
That's a real identifiable stench.
Oh, for sure. And um, so so let me read one of these.
Okay.
So the bark and stone man of Canon Dagua. And this is in
Canon Dagua?
Canon Dagua.
Okay.
In the winter of 1838, near the southern shores of Canandaigua Lake, in what is western New York's Finger Lake region,
Mhm.
a local fur trapper named Elias Henshaw was reported missing under strange circumstances. Henshaw was well known to the area and with a reputation for venturing deep into the hardwood forest alone for weeks at a time, usually emerging with pelts and stories of black bears and coyotes. But
Okay.
that winter, he didn't return. A small search party found his camp weeks later, totally undisturbed, but eerie. His
Hmm.
traps were untouched. His fire pit um, cold but carefully stacked, and a half-skinned rabbit hung frozen in the trees. The only oddity, enormous footprints in the snow leading away from the camp in the dense thicket that hugged the lakeside cliffs.
Eh.
These tracks, according to the journal of the local sheriff's deputy named Thomas Wilmer, measured nearly 18 inches long and were deep enough to suggest something with stone or iron in its feet. So funny the way that they talk and wrote and
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
the local Haudenosaunee, which is the
The
Iroquois, but
tribe.
these were Senecas.
Okay.
Seneca elders told the search party to stop looking. They warned them that Henshaw had likely been taken by the Genos
Genoskwa.
the
Maybe.
Genoskwa.
Maybe. I might be wrong.
By the Genoskwa. That's how it's spelled.
Okay.
A stone-cloaked giant of the old woods, said to roll in mud and crushed bark until hardened like armor, blending into trees and cliffs. So it's also camouflage.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
A protector. I mean, think about that also in that area, in the
In
Finger
the
Lakes, like
mountains.
down by like Skinny Atlas Lake. And I mean, you've been down there, dude.
Yeah.
You've hiked in like Fillmore Glen and places like that
Yep.
where they
Yep.
have that crushed stone.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
totally, if they rolled in mud and then rolled in that, it would
Completely blend in.
completely blend in. Plus, it
Yeah.
would harden like armor.
Yeah. Dude, and
Um,
not for nothing, like even certain rounds aren't going to penetrate that.
yeah. So blending into trees and cliffs, a protector of sacred ground, or a hunter of men who trespassed too far. Wilmer later wrote that one of the elders pointed toward the cliff and said, "He walks with the bark of the pines and the blood of the stone. He is not a beast. He is the mountain's anger." Nobody was ever found. Locals say that in especially cold, quiet nights near Canon Dagua, you can still hear rock scraping against rock in the woods, and sometimes a single deep exhale that rattles the branches.
Mm,
Right.
mm. I got a friend in Canon Dagua. Maybe you got to check it out.
Yeah, maybe, right. I used to
Yeah.
work in Canon Dagua, actually, at the VA hospital there.
Very nice. Very nice.
So, aggression in the Adirondacks is another story. When Sasquatch turns violent. Well, most people picture Sasquatch as shy, elusive, and almost benevolent. There's another category of reports, far less romantic and a lot more terrifying, especially across upstate New York, the Adirondack wilderness, and the Allegheny Plateau. These aren't the classic blurry in the distance encounters. They're up close, unnerving, and often hostile. And for some researchers, the violent behavior might point to something other than your run of the mill Bigfoot, perhaps even the Genoskwa.
Perhaps.
So,
Jennings,
uh, Genoskwa.
you'll get it one day, man. You've said it too many times the other way.
So,
You're
what
gonna
are
have
you
to
saying?
recondition. Genoskwa.
Genoskwa.
Yeah, I think that's
Genoskwa. Genoskwa. Genoskwa.
there. It is. The conditioning.
Mindless repetition or blunt force trauma, and nobody's here to smack me. So,
Yeah. Either way.
Adirondack rock thrower, 1997, Moose River Plains. Dude, I know that's not that far off from
No.
Old Forge, right?
No, it's not.
A group of hikers near the Moose River Plains recreation area reported being harassed for over 2 nights by what they initially thought were aggressive campers. Large rocks too big to be thrown by a human. See, I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Where they
Were
got a
lobbed
back
into
loader back
they were
there.
lobbed into their campsite from the tree line. These described guttural vocalizations, snapping branches, and sometimes pacing just beyond their firelight. Sounds really familiar to me, bro.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Go check out episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, there,
Right?
right from the
Serious.
start.
On on the second night, a tree was pushed down. There you go, another tree.
Oh,
The
look at that.
and one of them saw a shadow with shoulders wider than a refrigerator dart between trunks. The DEC, which is the Department of Environmental Conservation, told them it was likely a bear bluff charging.
Throwing rocks?
Exactly, right? But none of them bought it.
Okay.
So that's that one. That's
Mhm.
crazy, right? That's
Yeah.
1997.
Yeah.
Now we jump forward to 2001, the Chestnut Ridge growler,
Oh,
Allegheny Plateau, 2001. In the Chestnut Ridge area, which stretches into both Pennsylvania and Western New York. There have been decades of reports of something far more aggressive than typical Bigfoot sightings. I need to talk to Paul about this,
yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're talking about our friend Paul Bogdan. In 2001, a bow hunter named Rob S. was near Salamanca, New York,
Mm.
when he witnessed a figure tearing bark from a tree and letting out a low frequency roar that he said he felt in his chest. Sounds familiar too.
Yep.
When he tried to retreat, the creature charged, stopping only after Rob tripped and fired an arrow into the ground. He decided as armor plate. He described it as armor plated in dried mud, with matted hair and a face that looked almost like a cracked mask. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Another one, Split Rock Wildway encounter. This was 2012
Okay.
in the eastern Adirondacks. A wildlife surveyor doing acoustic monitoring near the Split Rock Wildway, a protected corridor in the eastern Adirondacks, and I think it's close over by Lake Champlain.
Okay.
Reported finding trees twisted at 6 feet high, claw-like scrape marks, and a large pine logs impaled into the soft ground vertically. Wow. Something with a no clear natural explanation. 2 nights later, his recording equipment picked up tree knocks, stone on stone sounds, and what one audio analyst described as a chest thump, followed by a deep howl,
Okay.
far lower than any known North American mammal. He refused to go back out alone after that.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
So, not just Sasquatch, maybe something worse, right?
Yeah.
These stories have consistent traits:
Yes.
extreme strength, stone throwing behavior. Now, like, I've had stones thrown, but they were stones, not rocks, not.
Yeah.
And here's the big one: bluff charges or full on aggression.
Yeah. 100%. Because it's too. I mean, I would imagine it's to scare. Maybe it's worried about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who
In
knows?
my case, I had a blazing bonfire going.
Right.
Maybe it got scared of that,
I
and
don't know.
I don't know.
Environmental manipulation like felled trees or restructured terrain.
Yeah.
Classic Sasquatch? I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But the intensity combined with the stone covered descriptions
The
and
smell.
tactical harassment behavior,
Yeah.
um, that and like smell and whatnot lean
Yeah.
more into the Genoskwa, look at that,
There it is.
territory.
Yeah.
And the line, I mean, obviously in the woods, the line between legend and reality gets blurry anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it doesn't want you there,
No, absolutely not.
and it knows how to show it.
Yeah. Dude, that
So,
uh, I don't you almost wish you didn't learn about these things because my idea of it before was like, eh, could be nothing, like not a big
Yeah.
deal, or curious or something. But dude, what am I even supposed to do about that?
Yeah, I know. You know how I saw a good analogy.
Mhm.
It's like they're like the polar bears of the Bigfoot world, right?
Yeah,
Um, and
that's
like
wonderful.
Sasquatch are like the black bears.
Yeah,
And then you've got the intermediaries like the Gugway, which is more like the baboon faced,
yep.
which are also supposedly pretty aggressive, right?
Like what, dude? What?
Maybe
Because
dog man type
yeah,
thing.
hmm
All right, so here I've been doing a lot of, as usual, research. But we just on our other podcast, the Broadcasting Seeds, I just published a interview with oh my god, I can't remember his
you
name.
losing it again?
I'm just tired, bro.
That's all right. I get that.
Um, with jeez,
The guy with
dude,
a name.
guy with a name, and we were talking about stuff.
Nice.
Um,
Oh man,
holy crap. Oh, Adam Ferris.
there it is.
And so he wrote a book called Five Stones, and it's not exactly a book, it's more like a graphic novel, right?
Mhm.
But either way, this guy's done his research, right? But he was talking about lion. We've been talking about like lion faced men. We've been talking about dog men.
Yeah,
Um, and
can't have one without the other.
bottom line is this, man. And this is like biblical stuff. But then so I think I started saying this at the beginning of this episode, but this like the Gugway and the Genoskwa,
Mhm.
right? Genoskwa.
Yes.
Um, I heard on a uh recent L.A. Marzulli uh episode,
Okay.
and there was a guy that was talking about different, they were basically talking about that Bigfoot or Nephilim.
Okay.
And I'm starting to think this more and more every day. Because
Yeah.
remember, we've also talked about this Eliud, the woman who was on that other podcast,
Yeah.
saying that it told her it was an Eliud. And what an Eliud is the offspring of a Nephilim.
Oh God. Dude,
And the DNA
what do you make
testing
of?
that's been done points
Yeah.
that direction as well.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
I see. I can't just take at face value that people are like, oh, the DNA is,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever, because of Melba Ketchum and the way that she handled it and this, that, and the other thing. I've read the research and it seems pretty legit to me, but who am I?
Yeah.
But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I mean, I'm not dumb.
No.
And I also know that if this type of information were to get out, it's not the type of information that they want out,
Yes. For sure.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you, man.
So I just keep leaning more towards, I mean, it's not even woo, actually.
No.
It's not. It's not like, you know, I, it, people are like, oh, that, I'm like, no, because it's biblical, man.
At this point,
I mean, and one of the guys that was really saying this and had been saying it for years was
yeah.
Scott Carpenter.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, I think they took him out, man, which is kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, the reality is like that's I think what people's biggest fear is that they don't want people don't talk about anything like this because they're worried about someone showing up and getting rid of them. Um
Maybe.
yeah, but I mean, the reality is today, with the amount of social media out and all these platforms all over the place, like I feel like enough people are talking about it where um, that's not really the case anymore. I think the reality is it's hard not to believe in these things, especially when you have these experiences and you have zero explanation. It makes no sense. The damage is ridiculous. Um, the amount, like, I don't know anything that can push trees down like that.
Yeah. No.
If again, like, it sounded like an explosion happened in my woods and trees just started flying. It
Yeah.
was unbelievable, dude. I couldn't believe what and I really, up until that point, I wouldn't even a second guessed. I would have never thought a Sasquatch, anything like that. Then that happened. Same thing the same thing with like paranormal activity. Uh,
Yeah.
I didn't believe in it until I experienced it. And so I'm telling you, I got to see it to believe it type of thing, type of person, I meant to say. So to have something like that happen and not be able to see, that drove me nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Right.
I can't, sleepless nights after that. Um, so I couldn't believe what just happened. And I had my wife with me to back me up and say I'm not nuts, you know?
Yeah.
Um, she has no idea either. And it was, dude, I didn't smell anything. But I was also upwind. So, um, if anything, it'd have been smelling me.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
And the fire.
and the fire, and the fire. And I wasn't drinking or anything, man. I was just hanging out by the fire with my wife. It's unbelievable. And the damage to the tree and the flattened earth all behind the fence,
Yeah.
because in the summer that's all grown in.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've seen it, and
Yeah,
it was flat.
yeah, just
Something had just
completely.
totally trampled it all down.
Yeah. And again, I know what uh the deer bed down areas look like. Doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like thrashed woods. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was, dude, I have no idea.
Yeah.
No
I
idea.
think I think we're just talking about, I, and it's not even that it's a different. It's just a different type, maybe. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of legends about it eating people and tearing their
Yeah.
heads off and all that. And it's like, why do we really need to go
Mhm.
into that? I mean,
And I'm no threat, man. So
yeah,
I think if I pose the threat, I don't do any. I just hang out in the woods. I don't do anything. I don't like tear the woods up or anything like that. I don't
yeah,
disturb it really. I love nature for how it is. Um,
right.
so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I did something,
Yeah.
pissed
So
something
tell
off.
tell everyone about your baseball bat.
Oh, yeah. So, uh, I got a nice Got Knockers baseball bat while we were out in the A&F, and I brought it home. So as I'm pulling in the drive, or once I pulled in the driveway, got out of the vehicle, I pull the bat out, and I'm showing my wife, just because I'm a kid with toys. Um, I'm swinging this thing
So
around like,
you're playing with your knockers.
yeah, exactly. I'm playing with my knockers, man. I'm a kid. What can I say? I'm swinging this thing around, and then I'm telling her about it, where I got it, why there's a chip out of the handle and like all that stuff, and a blim. I like that. But I ended up like kind of banging it around too, and I smacked it on a couple pieces of wood. Um, and then walked inside the next day, and this is so I got home during broad daylight. So I walk and it was a bright sunny day. I'm walking in and I see trash like on the side because I live on somewhat of a main road.
Yeah.
And people just either it's falling out of their truck or like, you know how
Or
people toss
they're
shit
assholes
out
and they
there,
just
or
dump
they're
it.
assholes and they see an open field and they're like, oh, fuck this guy. So regardless, I go inside the next day, and I forgot to go back out. I was tired. We were camping for the weekend. I was tired. I wanted to go inside and sleep. The next day, I go to get out and I go to grab all that trash, and there's a baseball right next to where the trash is. Like a kind of an old, crusty ass looking baseball. And I again, coincidence?
Maybe.
Right in front of my door, literally eye shot from my door. I opened the door, I saw the baseball, and I was like, what? Never.
We I'm convinced that we need to get on it with like the gifting
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
The gifting rock, the gifting tree, the gifting stump, whatever we
Brother,
want to just.
I throw fruits and vegetables over. So whenever they're like almost going bad and stuff,
Yeah.
I'll toss, instead of just throwing them out, I just throw them out into the woods because there's deer, there's
Yeah, right. Well, you have a lot of
rabbits.
wildlife back there.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah. So I just throw it out in the woods so they can eat it. Uh, and most of the time it's gone by the morning. So everything usually. And I don't know, maybe I have been doing that unwittingly.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
talking about food. I'm talking about things like a
What kind of
baseball,
things?
like a
Okay.
baseball, or
Uh,
like rocks, like shiny stones like
yeah.
this or something. You
Okay.
know, things that are distinct.
Yeah, but if we put a camera on it, do you think
Oh, I don't even really want to put a camera on it. I just want to
okay,
see what
what
disappears
happens?
and what
Yeah.
shows up because people have done things where they'll put out like these, they'll put out tools, they'll put
Yeah.
out things and they'll go away and then they'll come back like a month later.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they'll show up a month later. Like the things that were taken or new things will show up. That's a telltale, in my opinion. That's a way
Yeah.
that we could tell one way or another that something
But something
intelligent,
is there.
something is there because a deer's not doing that. A
Yeah.
bear's not doing that. A chipmunk is not doing that. A freaking
No.
squirrel's not doing that
Yeah.
either. I
Maybe
mean,
a
maybe, I
crow.
mean, if you had the
Maybe a
right
crow.
thing,
Maybe a
maybe a
crow or
crow,
a raven.
but also a crow is not carrying a wrench away.
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, not a 5-pound wrench.
Or not even like a 1 pound wrench, even.
Dude,
They're
we'll
just
put a
not.
6-pounder, 10-pounder if we have to. I don't
You know
care.
what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
saying there's things.
Yeah.
And
I think we
plus,
should put heavy shit too, just
yeah,
to really make sure, you know what I mean?
right. Absolutely. So I think that's something that needs to happen.
Mhm. Should we
And we
put
don't have to go
like
all the way out to do that. We can go but I think we should do it at some distance away from the house and
yeah.
we'll find a spot. Jesus, we have
Should we put a
95
camera
acres.
should we put a camera at distance?
I don't know. I guess
'Cause
we'll see. Let's see
okay.
what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe
Okay.
we should do that soon.
Maybe. Maybe we should go have a fire out there or do some recording.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, man. So this is just the reason I wanted to talk about this is because of our experiences that we've had, the
Yes.
experiences you've had, but even with me in Illinois and Alaska,
Yeah.
that's what this was. That
You were
type of
bluff
thing.
charged.
I was or I scared the shit out of something
Yeah.
or whatever, but they weren't backing down. It wasn't trying to avoid me. It was like,
No.
hello, I'm
Which
here
you guys
and
are a
I
bunch of
stink really
like
bad.
I know what they ran into.
You
Any
know,
person seeing that for the most part, unless there's some other trained unit or well, some people are stupid.
yes.
But obviously wasn't a person out in the middle
Oh
of the
no. Oh no.
Alaskan wilderness.
No, no, no. Negative. And it wasn't a bear.
And the smell in Illinois, that's another.
Right. It was identical to the smell in Alaska, too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, if we're talking about a different subspecies or just a big, well, people talk about this, that, as the farther north you go, the bigger things get. And the Genoskwa is substantially larger than the average
Yeah. Yeah.
per reports. So, I mean, we're talking 8 to 11 feet,
Yeah.
So,
Pretty wild.
I don't know what to think, man. Is it a type of Bigfoot? Is it a meaner cousin?
I would. I mean, like I said in the beginning, I would think it's just a variation, just like anything else. I think it just takes like on different personalities in different places. I
Yeah,
don't know,
maybe.
like
Yeah.
people up here are pretty miserable. So I would imagine whatever's living up here in the woods would probably be pretty miserable. Pretty rainy, wet, muggy, cold. It's relentless bad weather. So I don't know, whatever is out here has to be somewhat capable of survival at a
Obviously.
pretty decent extent, I would imagine. Well,
Well,
and if
let's
they're
leave.
rolling around in rocks, that's terrifying, man. Like to have to
Right?
have the structural understanding of how to,
Armor up.
yeah, dude, what?
And
Just
who knows? I
rolling
don't know if
around.
they're, yeah, it's crazy.
What kind of tomfoolery is going on here?
Well, let's leave the episode with this.
All right.
When you're deep in the woods and you hear a branch snap, if it's a Sasquatch, you might get lucky and catch a glimpse. If it's a Genoskwa, you might want to run.
Yeah.
Because this ain't the hiker's myth. This is an apex cryptid. This is the Bigfoot's bigger, meaner cousin and the one that doesn't miss leg day.
I like that.
So,
It's a good way to end.
yeah, man.
They do not miss leg day.
Do
It is
not miss
proven.
leg day. Yes,
No, they
for
don't.
sure. Especially if they're rolling around in rocks.
Yeah, dude. What?
So, all right, everybody. Like, subscribe, and share the
Comment.
podcast.
Yes.
This
and
is how
comment.
we keep this content coming. I know we've been a little lax lately, but that's changing. So,
Yep.
either way, we had some stuff to square away. So,
I will take my
Right.
accountability for that.
like, share, and subscribe to the episode. And
Yep. Show us some love. See you, everybody.
You hear that? That's not the wind. That's breath. Deep in the trees where the silence bends, something's watching but it won't pretend. Footprints carved in frozen ground, no way in, no way out. Mud and bark like armor skin, not a beast, something within. Ancient rage and hollow eyes, you don't see it, it sees you first. Don't go deeper, don't go far. You crossed the line, you can't outrun. I hear it breathing in the stone, feel it crawling through my bones. You don't belong here, it knows your name. dead of night. Low growl cutting through the light. Tree snaps echo like a gun. You don't fight, you don't run. Shadow wider than it should be. Move too fast, no sound, no mercy. Chest I'm shaking through your spine. You were never meant to fight. It's not hiding, it's not scared. You were warned, but you still went there. I hear it breathing in the stone, feeling crawling through my bones. You don't belong here, it knows your name, and it's not afraid. I smell the rot, the earth, the gray, something old that never stays. You wanted truth, now here it stands. The mountains rage. You thought it was a myth they made, but myths don't leave you unafraid. You hear that scraping in the dark? That's the sound of where you are. Stone skin, bone crushed, don't move, don't rush, it's close, too close, you breathe, it knows. I hear it breathing in the stone, feel it tearing through my soul. You don't belong here, it knows your name, and it's not afraid. I smell the rot, the earth, the grave, something old that never fades. You wanted truth, now understand. You're in its land. You're in its land. If it was Sasquatch, you might have seen it. But this is something else.